QuickBooks Online 2021 Recurring Transactions Sales Receipt Part 2. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Online 2021. Here we are in our QuickBooks Online test file. In prior presentations, we entered sales receipts as recurring transactions or recurring transactions related to sales receipts. Now, after time has passed, we're going back in and checking the impact of it. We do have the tasks field as we go in. It says down here, respond to your reoccurring template reminders. I would not depend on this personally, but it is nice that they have the little tasks reminders here. If you want to then go from here to the reminders, you can go to the reminders item. Remember that if you are going from the prior presentations, that you need to turn the filters off by going up here, turn the filters off. We're basically in the reminders area, and then we can go back to the transactions area by going here. I would also go into this system not by being reminded all the time. I wouldn't really depend on that reminder because, again, even though it's right in the middle of the screen, I don't usually look there because I'm usually going right to the data input on the left or to the cog on the right when I'm actually doing stuff. So I would get in the habit, if you have reminders oftentimes, to go into them by going to the cog drop down up top, lists, and then go to recurring transactions. Then we have our information here. Once again, I'm going to close the filter out that I had in a prior presentation by closing this little X box here, or you could hit the drop down and then go to all up top. I'm then going to close the hamburger here. Note that you might have more information down below, or I might have more information than you have because we might have entered some more journals and whatnot if you're following along with these presentations. But our goal here, focusing in on the sales receipts. You can focus in on the sales receipts by changing the type up top if you want to sort by the type. And you can find it here. You could sort by the other line items up top as well. We're looking at these two, so we might then want to filter down between those two by then going to the filters up top. I'm going to filter by type here, and it's going to be the sales receipt that we want to be filtering by. So sales receipt, and then I'm going to say apply. And there's our two sales receipts. Now, these are the two items we set up as reoccurring type of information, reoccurring actions, that we set one up as a reminder and one up as scheduled. So the one that is scheduled has automatically recorded something. So it recorded it. We set it up to do it daily just so we can go back in a day and check it out. So we'll go in and check this one out, which has actually just simply recorded it. And there is no reminder. We're not going to have any reminders area. This one then is a reminder, and therefore it would be in the reminders area. If you're using the reminders function, then you could go up top here to the reminders items. That takes you to the screen we were at before. Here's all the different reminders that we have. If you want to sort this item, you could do so up top, and we want to sort it this time by the sales receipts. So we're focusing in on the sales receipts. This one was generated automatically for today. This one would be a reminder for tomorrow because we told it to tell us basically a day in advance, and we can go in there and take action on it. Let's go back first to the recurring transactions. Let's consider this one first, which was scheduled, which means it's simply going to record the transaction and we don't need to do anything else. Meaning, since it's a sales receipt, it recorded the sale, kind of like a cash register transaction, increase in some type of cash account, either cash or undeposited funds. Other side then going to revenue, and it was recorded basically automatically. So let's check that out. I'm going to go up top. Going to right click on this tab, duplicate it, do it again, right click on the tab up top and duplicate it again. We're going to be opening up the balance sheet and the income statement, or the P&L, the profit and loss. We'll do so by going down to the reports on the left hand side. Then we're going to be opening up the good old P and the L report. And so then I'll close up the hamburger, hold down control, scroll up just a little bit to that 125. Then I'm going to go to the tab to the left, then down to the reports again, this time opening up the balance sheet report, the good old BS balance sheet report, closing up the hamburger up top. So this item is going to be increasing. It's a sales receipt, so it's either going directly into the checking account or into this undeposited funds. We have an undeposited funds here. Let's check the checking account. Let's just check it out. See if we have a sales receipt in here. So no sales receipt in here. So it looks like it's going into undeposited funds. Going to go back, and we're going to open up the undeposited funds, and check it out. There's our sales receipt. So it was generated automatically. Note that it didn't go into cash. Either way, If we made this an automatic transaction, how could we double check it? Well, we might then, after we have this, we could record then the deposit from here. That would be one way that we double check it. Or we might use, say, bank feeds to help us to generate or record the deposit, right? It comes through the bank feeds, and then we can use that to take it out of undeposited funds and put it into the bank. If, on the other hand, we set the thing up to record directly into the checking account, we could still use the bank feeds or bank reconciliation as a double check for these transactions, because when the bank feed comes through, we'll match it to the bank feed, and that'll give us our double check there. The other side is going to then go to the income statement, to the sales item. And so if we go down to sales, there's our sales receipt item there. So that one has been recorded, done automatically. We don't have any reminder related to it. Back to the first tab. Let's then think about the one that we had set up as scheduled. We can go to the reminders area, and here's the two items. Here's the one for today, and then we said remind me a day in advance for the second one. If this one is okay to go, then we can simply create it. So I'm going to say go ahead and just create that one, please. And then if I go back on over, that one should now be added back to the balance sheet. Going to run this one. This one I think we put into the checking account. So we could check that out in the checking. Going into the checking to check it. And we're going to go down. There's that one. So this one, sales receipt, same type of form. But rather than putting it into undeposited funds, we said just put it into the checking account, which again, we can verify with the bank reconciliation or the bank feeds. Back then, let's go to the profit and loss. Other side, if I refresh this, will be in the sales item. So the other side will be in the sales item on either case, whether we use undeposited funds or not. So there are those two. Back on over. If I go back to the first tab, now this one is reminding me for tomorrow. That's in advance because I told them to remind me a day in advance. Note that you might have a situation where you want to basically adjust this. You might say the reason I wanted to set it up as a reminder is so that if there was an adjustment, I can go back in there and fix it before I actually record it. So remember, when you fix something, there's a couple things to keep in mind. If I go back to the record transaction, we have it here as the reminder. If you adjust the reminder, if you edit this, then that's going to adjust the reminder, not the actual transaction that is being reminded to do at this point in time. If we want to then keep that as is, but then make any tweaks we need to make before we finalize it, then we can go to the reminders list. And if I need to test this or change this, I can edit it here. This not changing the template, but changing the actual form that we're going to record at this time. So I'm going to edit this form. And let's pretend we need to edit this one. And I'm going to say, let's make this like 12. And so now we got the 1200. And let's say that's the adjustment we need to make. Now I'm going to record it. When I hit save and close down here, it's actually going to record the sales receipt. So this is going to actually do the recording, not adjust the template. So if I close that, save it, and close it, there we have it. Now notice this item is still here at the original amount, even though I still recorded the transaction. You might want to refresh it just to check it out. So I would go back to the prior tab and then back to the reminders, and now it's basically disappeared. And that's a little bit of a glitchy thing there that, if you want to make sure that if you recorded it and you made any adjustment to it, that it's been recorded and that it's either not in the reminders. If it's still in the reminders, you can go ahead and skip it because you've used it to generate a form. Let's check out the form that was used to be generated. Back to the balance sheet, running it, scrolling back down, and we're going to say this one went into the checking account. I got to bring it up to the 22nd now. Bring it up to the 22nd, which is tomorrow here at this time. There it is. There's the sales receipt for the 1,200. Been recorded and been adjusted. Back to the income statement. Let's refresh that one. Run the sales report. Change it to the 22nd. And so I could see that. So we can pick that one up. And there it is on the 22nd. That looks good. The thing, it froze on me here. Something funny happened. I fixed it. There's some stupid gremlin in my computer or something. So then if I go back to the first one, we go back to the first tab. If I go back to the recurrent transactions now note this one didn't change, of course. When we edited it, the reminder one didn't change, and we have these two lined up. So the next date that passes, which for this one will be the 23rd, this one will record automatically, and this one then will be a reminder that will then pop up that we can then edit if we need to at that point in time. Once again, because it's a sales receipt, the next step in the process would either be to make the deposit manually and then check it with a bank reconciliation or with the bank feeds, or to use the bank feeds to basically either verify the deposit that went into the checking account or to move it from the undeposited funds to the checking account with the use of the matching feature within the bank feeds.